Donald Trump is just hours away from reclaiming the U.S. presidency. Donald Trump and incoming First Lady Melania Trump are meeting outgoing President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden at the White House. They are meeting for a tea that's traditionally held to welcome a new president. This comes after Trump attended service at St. John's Church. And for more on this, we have with us VOA correspondent Jessica Stone, who is joining us live from Washington, D.C. Jessica, we were just getting those live visuals here. Donald Trump and Joe Biden having the tea event over there. Just give us more details. What more can you tell us about it?
Well, the salient thing is that this is not something that took place 4 years ago. You know, Joe Biden did not receive the courtesy that he is extending to incoming President Trump with these ceremonial activities at the White House. There was no outgoing farewell ceremony at the White House, as there will be today after this White House tea. And there was no presence of the outgoing president at the inauguration festivities for President Biden. So it is really remarkable and important for the American people to see that these people who have sparred heavily, who have criticized each other heavily, who have called each other names, and really sought the American people's, in some cases, really, strong emotions to win this election, that they can sit down, that they can have tea, they can have conversation, and they can get along. Something that I noticed when we were watching the Carter funeral just a week ago or so, where you saw President Trump attending there with Melania Trump and talking quite conversantly with Barack Obama, the former president, someone who he's also been critical of and who has been critical of Trump. So this is an important part of what's going on here, is that they have these human moments in light of the intense political season that's now coming to an end. And I should just say the campaign season is coming to an end, but the governing season is going to be very intense as well. As we know, there are a number of executive orders on tap for President Trump as soon as he takes the oath of office.
You put it really well there, Jessica, when you say these are the few human moments that they share ahead of the inauguration. What's next? What's on the agenda next after the ceremony?
So after the ceremony, there's another human moment. They're both going to get into the same vehicle. They're going to sit next to each other. And you can wonder what those conversations will be like as they come down Pennsylvania Avenue from the White House to the Capitol building, especially after President Biden has pardoned the January 6th folks who testified in front of the committee that was part of the investigation led by Capitol Hill. Some of the same people who Donald Trump has literally campaigned against, built his campaign around. Somebody like Dr. Anthony Fauci, who was the president's medical advisor under COVID. Somebody and others who have had a key role. You know, these are the names that have been pardoned as of today. And I just read a statement from one of the attorneys who represents some of these police officers who have been pardoned for their activities on January 6th, simply because they were there, simply because they're targets of the rhetoric of President Donald Trump, saying, we did not ask for this pardon. We didn't want this pardon. We had no idea this pardon was coming. But Mark Zaid, one of the attorneys, saying, we think the pardon is appropriate because of the kind of rhetoric that the president has been spouting and the kind of actions and the dangers it poses to the clients that he has if it's acted upon by supporters of Donald Trump. So again, you've got terrible animosity between these two leaders, but will there be some human moments, some human conversation? Will they talk about their grandkids? Will they talk about the weather? Some sort of safe topics, on the way here to the Capitol. The President Biden will be here for the swearing in under the Capitol Rotunda alongside Trump's family, Trump's aides. And I can hear the sirens in the distance now. Many of the people are already coming here to the Capitol, queuing up for that ceremony that's going to take place in about an hour's time.
Jessica, the internet has been rife with reactions of Trump supporters who've traveled for miles to be able to attend this inauguration ceremony. However, plans were changed. The ceremony was shifted indoors. Have you been able to speak to some of those supporters? How are they feeling? What do they have to say about being part of the ceremony in some way or the other, maybe not directly witnessing it, but what is it that you've gathered from on ground there?
So VOA has been able to speak to some of these folks, and these are passionate believers in the message of Donald Trump. Some of them have never voted before, have certainly never been this politically active. Some of them have come out of the military, and they don't want to see the United States return to these long investments in warfare around the world. They want to see more peace, more prosperity domestically. And the cold does not chase them away. I mean, certainly there is disappointment that their tickets are now commemorative as opposed to functional in terms of giving them access to watch the inauguration here on the West Front lawn, as you see behind me. We would have expected, had this not been changed around, to have lots of noise, lots of celebration, big jumbotrons on the National Mall for people to witness this. But instead, they'll be doing this behind closed doors in places like the Capitol Arena and bars and restaurants and hotel rooms, in homes around the city, Airbnbs and the like. This is going to be a festive time, and it certainly is a festive time for people who voted for this candidate. It is a depressing time for those who did not. There's a number of people who are terribly discouraged on the left who really think that their candidate should have won, that they had the better message. But of course, that is not how the U.S. public voted, and there is no question about it. Unlike 8 years ago, there is no question about the mandate that Donald Trump has. He has the Republican Congress, he has a conservative judiciary, and he has the presidency. So we'll have to see how quickly he can make use of those critical tools in the coming hours and days.
Thank you, Jessica, for joining us with those details live from Washington there. On your screens right now, what you can see are live visuals from the venue where the ceremony is just about to begin in a short while from now. Of course, seats empty right now, but it is going to be a close gathering of world dignitaries who will be present for the inauguration of the 47th President of the United States of America. Donald Trump will be sworn in at about noon EST, and this marks a remarkable return to power for Donald Trump in a historic second return, a non-consecutive return by a U.S. president, a rarest of rare occasions that this has happened. Also, the ceremony has been moved indoors. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.